Grow Go podcast. I'm Matt Jordan. I'm the senior pastor here at First Methodist Church Enterprise, and we have a guest with us who's been on our show before, and we're excited that Tyler is with us again. Before I introduce Tyler to you, just a couple of updates for you. We're back in the normal rotation of Wednesday night dinners, and so make sure that you come and be a part of our fellowship together. Dinner at 5 and Bible studies at 6 for the ladies' Bible journaling, the study that I teach, choir, students, kids, all the things. From 6 to 7 on Wednesday nights. It's a time to come together and just fellowship and be with one another and be in the presence of the Lord and just have a chance to just have conversation with each other and have an opportunity to study God's Word. I'm so thankful that you continue to subscribe and share and hit that notification bell, that you continue to be with us as we continue our podcast. And as always, if there's something you want us to share about or talk about or a guest to bring on, let us know. We would love to have that opportunity to hear from you. And we would love for you to just continue to make sure that you're sharing this podcast with everyone. Today, our special guest is Mr. Tyler Peters. And Tyler was on our show a few months ago.
Yeah, like it was like a year ago.
It feels like it. Yeah. And was it in the spring?
It probably was somewhere in. No, I think it was no. It was like around, I think, November, December, something like that.
Yeah, it was Christmas break, I guess, wasn't it?
It was still during like deer season, so yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Tyler is a new graduate at the University of Mobile and is now an alumni. Welcome to the club.
Yep.
And Tyler, go ahead. What's that?
It went by so quick.
My Lord, didn't it?
Yeah,
and
4 years.
I was sharing with someone yesterday or day before about college life and meal tickets and all those things. And I don't know if they still had it, but when I went to the University of Mobile, they had two or three different types of dining plans. One of those was you got the cafeteria and all your standards, and you could add so many RAM dollars each semester.
Yeah, speaking of the cafeteria, they're actually redoing it. Like they're painting it and stuff and getting new flooring and things like that. And the new president there, Charles Smith, great guy. And like I got the chance to interview him like this past, like a few months ago. And it's really good. So yeah, and
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and I was telling someone, I said, my mom always knew when I was out of RAM dollars or out of my own money because every time she'd call me, I was eating the cafeteria food.
Yeah.
Not that the caf was bad, but they had I forgot what it was called, but they got this little grill in there.
Oh yeah,
in the library or the old library.
Yeah,
man alive, I love the Philly cheesesteak out of that thing. Man, that thing was great. But
their burgers are good, and I always get that.
And, is Java still there? The coffee shop?
Yep.
Okay.
Still there. Mm-hmm.
Good. I went there every morning.
Like I normally I went to Mocha's like a lot and stuff, and I always get the butterbeer frap and stuff, but like it's just a good place to go hang out, study, and hang out with everybody. And,
I worked at Spring Hill Baptist when I was down there, and so we went to Carpe Diem all the time, and that's where I like to go
I've been to Carpe too.
I love me some Carpe, man. That was great.
Yeah.
Well, when we met last, you were getting ready to graduate. You've done that, and then you were finishing up some internships and things. Tell us where you are now. So
yes, I've graduated, and thank the Lord, and cause I was ready to be done. And but I'm working full time at my home church back home at Ozark Baptist, and I got a long title. It's like I'm like the audio visual engineer kind of guy, but I'm really enjoying them. I'm been doing like a lot of video shooting, stuff like that. Like I shoot and edit video announcements. I put stuff in ProPresenter, things like that. Type up sermon slides and stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I got my own office, and I got all the movies I made hung up and stuff. And, So man, that's awesome. And so now that you're back home and full time at your church and those things, how was your education? How did that help prepare you for what you're doing? Like I did well. Like I knew like a lot of stuff with video and stuff, and like I'm really glad. Like I love to work with my hands and stuff like that. So I like a bunch of hands-on stuff, and like a lot of stuff I learned how to do like with ProPresenter and like great and grateful for the internships I did over at First Baptist and like also interning at my church back home and like learning how learning new stuff, like learning stuff with ProPresenter and stuff like that. And like now like so like we just got some new lights and stuff, and they're like program lights and stuff, and we use this app called Light Key and stuff. So like learning how to program lights and learning how to color code lights and things like that. So yeah, been learning how to do this.
So one thing that we talk about a lot, sometimes because we talk about it sometimes as a staff, because so often, technology is a great assistance in the church. Other times, like 2 weeks ago, we didn't have live streaming for the past 2 weeks. Yeah. Last week was my fault. I didn't schedule somebody and didn't do my responsibility there. But the week before, we show up on Sunday morning and the internet's out. Nothing, right? And which meant that there were certain things our worship leader couldn't do because he was using his iPad. There were nothing we could do for live streaming. We just had all kinds of issues. And I think some people don't see the whole big picture with technology in the church. I think some do. But when we think about technology in the church, it's more than internet and those things, right? That's almost a necessity now.
Yeah.
But when you think about lights, you think about a podcast like ours, like the podcast that you do, and you think about all the things that go into that. Tell me and our listeners a little bit about what purpose that serves in ministry.
Well, like with live streaming, like you're you use your platforms like Facebook and YouTube, like to like get that stuff out there, like for people to watch, like who either can't make it to church or things like that, like which that's the whole purpose. Like we started like live streaming like since COVID and stuff like that, and so that's helped a lot and stuff. And but like that's like where people cannot are not physically able to attend, like that, like they can watch, but like still like that's still like not like if you're not like sick or anything, like that's just not an excuse to like to stay home. Like you need to get up, go hang out with fellow believers who care about you and stuff like that, and to get involved instead of just sitting in it.
Sure. So you mentioned that you were working on programming lights and those things. How does that affect worship?
Simply like to like light the stage up, like for everybody to see like what's going on stage, like the musicians and plus the preaching as well. So like it just creates a certain element and stuff like that, and like lights are like a big part of like Christmas Spectacular, Spring Spectacular. Like you like been to those and see like how like those literally like just bring everything to life and stuff, and it's really incredible.
We use them in a lot of different ways, but I've seen it where churches can utilize lights and what a lot of people would call smoke, but it's most of the time it's haze.
Yeah, I wish we don't have smoke machines.
Yeah. We don't either, and I tell you what's so funny.
Yeah, that's like a bit too much. Like for like a concert, that's all right, but like for like a full on gospel sermon, I'm like, yeah, that's probably too much.
Yeah, we tried some haze one time in a service that we did. We had gotten these new lights that we had found on Facebook Marketplace or something, and they really only are really, really noticeable when you have haze. And of course, the lights we have, and you know this, when you've got haze and those things, it really magnifies all of that. But you're right. I mean, I think for worship and gospel presentation, even just a little bit of haze can take away from the purpose we're there a little bit. But especially in a smaller space. But I have never received so many emails during worship than when we tried that, of folks who were like, "What in the world?" We had a family or two get up and leave. And over haze, bewildered me to no end. But I do think that lights, and I think that anything to do with audio visual and those sorts of things can enhance worship in the room in a variety of ways, both of the presentation of what you're doing setting the scene and thing of the room and that sort of thing. And honestly, too, with the technology for live streaming, I had somebody the other day, they said, why is our contemporary service so dark? And I said, just to be transparent with you, I said, we're still working out the kinks with these cameras. And I know it's been a few months that we've had them, and it just, but it's the truth. But the other side is with the cameras, they have auto adjusting focus. Well, when you have the lights of the camera picking up all the lights, it picks up all of that. And so when it gets to the stage, it's blurry. You can't see anybody. You can't see who's preaching. You can't see. So we turned down some other features to where it's darker in the room on the cameras, but you can see the stage and you can see the speaker and you can see the musicians. And they said, well, I guess I'd rather see the musicians and the preacher than I would the other people, And I was like, see, that's what we're saying. But some people don't get that. So they don't understand some of those things. And
also maybe not like too much haze and not too much like craziness, like with the lights, because then that becomes distracting, from people like worshiping and stuff like that, and from the preaching and stuff. So
that's right. It's so much of it can be. I think that there's a fine line there.
Yeah.
Because I keep thinking. I go back to that song, "The Heart of Worship," and Stephen McWhirter has done an acoustic version of that is just top notch. I love anything Stephen McWhirter does.
Yeah.
But when all this disappears, we go back to the heart of worship. What's left, and I think that we have to look at that as the beginning in our planning for worship, even with audiovisual, right? And that's kind of what's at the heart of our podcast too. And I know at the heart of yours is gospel conversations and in ways that we can use modern technology to continue the touch that we can make. Mm-hmm. And it seems strange to some folks, I think, maybe in older generations, of how a virtual podcast that something like this can make a touch with someone. But my generation, your generation, probably some early boomers, they listen to podcasts. I mean, I don't know that there's another platform in the world that gets as much viewership as podcasts and music. But with that, so many people's schedules are so busy from sun up to sundown that I've tried noonday Bible studies, and they're not well attended, especially by those who are young and working, who you would think, hey, I'm making a commitment to you. This Bible study is going to last 35 minutes so you can get to work, right? You can come here for lunch, eat, do our Bible study, and you turn around and leave. And it's still difficult for them to come. And early in the morning, those of us with children, if it's not at 5 a.m. before they're awake, or if it's not at 8 p.m. when they're asleep, we have to make a sacrifice. And that doesn't always make a spouse happy. It doesn't always make our children happy, even though it's for a good thing. And sometimes it's difficult. So a way that we can have this conversation, continue talking about worship on Sunday, talk about things that challenge our faith throughout the week, we're hitting that basic need of what is worship, what's discipleship, what are these things in the local body of the church, and how can we bridge that gap of people coming to be present multiple days a week is not the same way it used to be 30, 40, 50 years ago. And so I think technology can be a big benefit in that.
And plus it's still advancing to this day. It's still going.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, we've got we actually had we had a couple. It's not the first time. This is the third or fourth time that we've had this, but we had a couple come to traditional worship on Sunday who said, we watched you on TV, and they watched us on YouTube, and they watched our fellowship hall, our C3 service in the fellowship hall. And they had just come to person in traditional worship, but they had watched us before online. So, and we've had other couple. We had one family who did that, and they had even researched all the staff members. They knew who the staff was. And our children's director walked up, and they said, "You're Melissa." And she said, "Yeah, have we met before?" She said, "No, but I was going through your website, and I was, watching your podcast, and you were on there and watching the worship." And so that's really the front door of the church now in a lot of avenues, is what you have online in your presentation to that. Yep. So Tyler, tell us what's a few things that you've learned now being full time on a staff and in a medium sized church that maybe you didn't know in school or didn't have the chance to experience in school, or for me, when I stepped into full time ministry, it was learning how to balance and not do everything, and I'm still learning that and I'm a slow learner and a hard learner, but what are some of those things that you've learned now being out of school, doing your what you've been trained to do, what you love and have passion with in the church? What have you learned?
Well, I just learning like how to do like hard things and stuff like that. Like trying to learn how to do stuff like on my own. Well, I like plus I like have people like teach me, and like eventually like I will learn how to do it. Like on my own and stuff. Like just like with lights, like I'm learning how to operate them and stuff like that. But like when something goes out, like say if a light goes out, like yeah, or something's not like routing correctly, then yeah, like I need like a little help on that. But just learning like how to grow and like trying to better my skill set and stuff like that.
One thing that I have learned in ministry is the skills that you learn that are not taught in
Yeah.
seminary and even in undergrad, and that's in pastoral leadership. I can tell you some of the things that are taught in undergrad and taught at the seminary level. I'm going back in another week or so to start my doctorate. Is good theology, practices for pastoral care. I was coming through seminary at a time they were beginning to shift and to start talking about the care of the pastor, how to take care of yourself. Basic crisis care counseling. Someone calls and says, I'm struggling and I think I want to take my life, or they call and say, hey, I've just been told that my spouse has done this or that, or what, how do you handle someone that's called you with a crisis, and how do you navigate that in your ministry? Good church history, good foundations of some basic leadership skills, really more or less how not to be a jerk and how not to bankrupt your church, those sorts of things. Let's give you enough so you don't get in trouble of leadership skills. But some of the things that they don't teach that I've learned, and I've served at large churches and small churches, and of course now senior pastor of a medium-sized church, but they don't teach a lot of those hands-on skills that you would never think you would need. And what I mean by that is they don't teach how to run a cable. They don't teach how to understand putting contracts together for your church when you have quotes coming in and those sorts of things with improvements or construction and those sorts of things. A lot of times you got church laity that do that. But if you're the only staff member at a church, which is probably most of the pastors, that's your responsibility. They're going to come to you and ask for that. How do you acquire that? What's the process for those things? And of course, in the Methodist Church, a lot of those things are set up structurally, but so much of that I've learned just in hands-on ministry of how to run a cable, or how to do this or that, or how to set up a computer for a new staff member, and those things. Because a lot of churches don't have an IT person. Even medium-sized churches, they've got a contract with a company that maintains their network, and that's about all they got. And that's beginning to change because of the necessity of things. But how to use ProPresenter? That's not a standard class in seminary or an undergrad, unless you're doing worship arts or whatever it may be. And so I think serving in the church, you just learn so much that is so diverse in your learning. How to interact with people, and sometimes in seminary, you'd have a class where they talk about how to deal with difficult people, or how to communicate with interpersonal relationships and those sorts of things. But I think there is so much in ministry that you learn by just serving in the church that you don't learn in the textbook. And I don't know if that's been your experience, but that's definitely been mine.
Yes, but like, like also like with my experience, like in the church, so like in college, I never learned how to program lights. Well, like we use this, I did, but like I was hoping, praying, like I do not want to learn that, like, cause like I hated it, like but like that's just part of the job description. It's like you're a tech guy, you do everything tech, like audio, video, lighting, sound, but and like in a few, like I think like in a month or maybe like a few weeks from now, like we're starting to get a LED wall to set up over in the Faith Factory, and I gotta learn how to do that. Like, which we're all gonna be like learning. Like me, James, and Joe, and Matt, who is really good with like he helped me learn how to work with light key and stuff like that, like how to work the lights and stuff. So yeah, like I'm learning a lot of stuff from him, and like I'm gonna be helping him install new security cameras like this upcoming Friday. And so yeah, like he's also going to be helping us like with the LED wall and stuff like that. And like we're going to which I think we're going to have somebody like teach us and stuff like that. But like we also need to like watch videos and stuff like that. Like I've been trying to watch videos like on how to run a LED wall and stuff like that. Like I've seen like how to put one together, but it's like running it and we're going to start. So like our services are fixing to change up, so like to where like because like we're trying to grow our second service and stuff like that. So like we're gonna have to telecast the first service to play over in the contemporary service and keep everything traditional in for the service across the street, and then we have Sunday school, and then we have the second service like where the pastor is live, and then we'll do it that way. So yeah, like we're like it's just a temporary thing. Like we're just trying to grow our church and stuff like that. Like trying to continue to grow and yeah. So
yeah, and we're trying to do that in a lot of ways, and I think it's just really neat for me to see you as someone who I have seen grow through high school and go to college and now come back and be serving in the church and.
Yeah.
An alumni of the Rams, baby, and that's always something that is always special for me to see. And you had mentioned to me, one thing that y'all are starting up, you and your cousin, as a young adult study, coming up. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, like I felt like it's something like that God has put on my heart, like a idea of some sorts, and I'm like, we should really do this. So like I talked with them, and I feel like that, hey, like we should like invite people like that we know, and like if there's anybody who's listening to this, like anybody is welcome to come. Like if you're out of college or in the workforce or seniors or if you're not planning on going to college at all or going like right into the workforce, just come and join us. Like we'll meet once a week on Sunday nights at my church at the Ozark Faith Factory at 6 p.m. And and then like the first night is just going to be a time of fellowship of us just trying to get to know one another and stuff like that. And then awesome. I'll share my testimony, and then we'll split into prayer groups and stuff, and we'll ask like just from everybody, like, hey, like what kind of topics do y'all want to talk about, like the next time we meet and stuff like that. And then hopefully like if it all grows, then we'll do like fun events like a bonfire or things like that. Just fun events. But yeah,
awesome.
But like just a way to like just share the gospel and like to encourage like one another. Like and
well, last thing for us, I know you're a big deer hunter.
Yep.
So are you going to tell us your secret spot that you like to go hunt deer?
Nope.
No, you're not going to tell us a secret?
No,
okay.
No, but like one thing I want to add though is like, yes, like I'm working on another movie.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Called
okay.
John Riz 3. And yes, like last April we had our second Rams Film Festival, and like we had a really big turnout. I did John Riz 2. And like so like each semester I made them like a movie, and like I have like my own little premieres and stuff. And like I told myself like so like last year's film festival I didn't win anything like with John Riz won, and like I pretty much said like after the Wrangler like I'm done. And then my friend Trevor came to me and said, hey, like you like we should do like a John Riz 2. And then like I had some thoughts about it, and we did it. And I'm glad we did, because like we, me and him ended up winning Best Director award,
nice.
and I got the award for Best Cinematography, and like it's like up to like 148 views now.
Nice.
And like everybody's been talking about it, and like every time like when I walked into Mocha's or something, like one of my friends, Kendall, like said says like, "Is that John Riz?" And then like everybody like at home was watching it, and they're like, "Hey, John Riz," and stuff like that. Like it's like a big name now, and so yeah, like we're in the process of making the third film, and like I'll be going back down like in the fall, like back to UM, and we'll finish the rest of the movie up and stuff like that.
Awesome, man.
So, yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, Tyler, thank you for being on here again, and we look forward to seeing all that God's going to do through you and with you, and all that He's going to continue to bless you with.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much. Thank y'all for joining the No Grow Go podcast. We'll see you next week.
And be sure to like and subscribe to Peter's Film Productions.
There you go.